Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Grown Up British podcast. Hopefully by now the first episode is out, and today our topic of discussion is YouTube. We're sort of going to be just going over our favourite YouTubers and our YouTube channels that we enjoy and all the guilty pleasures, and I think some people might even be playing devil's advocate with us and just seeing where we can go with this really. So I'm just going to go straight over to Archie because he just wants to talk about his favourite YouTubers.
Same
Alright.
people, by the way, just to let you know. It's me as
Same
well.
three.
Yeah.
Tom, me, and Sam. Alright, okay. I'm just going to straight up throw up my three favourite channels. When I was putting the list together, I was thinking, if someone's never watched YouTube before, who are the three channels that I'd recommend for them just to have a good time? And that could just be put on at pretty much any time and just have a laugh, sat with your mates, sat with your family, sat by yourself. And I was thinking, I personally do not watch this group of people, but if a little highlight reel comes up,
Hey! What the fuck?
I just enjoy watching that, the best bits for 30 seconds. And I thought they're quite a family-friendly group, right? So I would definitely have them on there because they've been very big and controversial recently. Not controversial, but controversial as in the way that they're sort of tearing up the scene recently. They've just sort of,
relevant.
yeah.
I think we know what's coming.
It's David Dobrik, his vlogs, and the Vlog Squad.
Wow.
I absolutely love them.
Never.
Yeah, so I
heard
know
of
you're
him.
watching. You never heard of them?
Oh, well, I've heard of David Dobrik, but I've never heard of
Yeah.
Vlog Squad.
Well, basically,
It's like the modern version of Team 10, but for David Dobrik.
well, they were there
Christ
before.
almighty.
It's nothing like Team 10 because they were there before Team 10. But basically,
Right.
do you know the days of Vine? Like this was before David
Yeah.
Dobrik moved to LA, and he
I'm going to look him up on my phone now. Let's
he
have a
sort
look.
of
You like him, everyone. He's an iconic man, really, and he's a big part of YouTube now.
he's my favourite YouTuber of all time. I remember the first video I ever watched of him because I was just scrolling for YouTube and I see this guy and he's getting like a few million views, and then he the first ever video I watched was this one where he's trying to juggle wine bottles between people, and then he tries to catch one, he drops it, but it smashes on the floor, but he still goes to catch it, and it like slices right down the palm of his hand. And that's the first ever video. But he still managed to make a joke out of that, and I just think it is a really good quality content.
Let's have a look at some of the oh my god.
Especially every single one of his videos is 4 minutes 20 seconds. I think that's skill in itself.
Yeah. I mean, it looks incredibly clickbait.
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
All YouTubers try and clickbait titles. It's part of the game, isn't it?
But the thing with David Dobrik is it looks clickbait. Like he'll be surprising fans with Justin Bieber like as a title, and then that's exactly what he does. Because it's not. It's like looks like it's clickbait, but it's like clickbait. But then it actually turns out to be real.
The best part about him, right, is it's completely off topic, but oh my god, that man, he's an okay looking man. He's nothing special, really, is he? Yeah, he's not a bad looking man, you can't deny. But the thing is, right, he gets the top tier of girls.
He literally gets models.
Models, and he rejects so many of them. So many of them.
They're just all going to be with him for money, though, aren't they? Let's be fair.
Yeah, do you know who hit him up the other week? I was watching a video. Riley Reid, right? And they were reading his text of Riley Reid, right? And she was like, oh, so when am I coming over? Wet emoji. And then David said, over where? Obviously just avoiding the question, right? But I was just thinking, Riley Reid's one of those...
Is he not an arrogant guy?
No, he's not an arrogant guy. He's like the complete opposite. But it's just... I was watching another one as well. Madison Beer went from... Everyone loves a bit of Madison Beer, don't they? She's very relevant at the moment.
Never heard of her again. I'm not at it with the YouTube game, am I?
No, but...
David's big now, and I think one of his massive claims to fame was he was with Liza Koshy for quite a long time. And
time.
She was bigger than him at that point, but now he's bigger than her. But they broke up, And I think that's the reason why he doesn't really go for any of these supermodels, because he probably still likes them, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was watching that one with Madison Beer where David was roasting her, and he said, "Oh, you fancied me for 8 months," and she said that he didn't watch a single minute of his friend's show because he was too busy entertaining, we'll say, Liza Koshy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, his assistant is one of his like high school best friends, and personally, she's one of the fittest girls out there. And
is that the Nicola one? Is it that one?
I can't remember. But basically, yeah, and they always joke about like being in a relationship together, and David says, yes, she is beautiful, but I don't think I could ever go for her. And she probably would. Yeah, it's
it was rumoured with Addison Rae the other week, wasn't he?
Natalie, that's the name of her. Yeah.
Natalie, I was thinking an N.
Yeah.
What did I say, Nicole or something?
I can't remember.
But no, definitely. I'd recommend people to watch him. I personally don't watch him, but I know he's that type of person.
I'd recommend, even if you don't watch the vlog squad, watch David Dobrik's videos, and also he does. I listen to his podcast as well with one of the members, Jason Nash, and that's a good podcast because that's literally just a piss take. Like, they will talk about their latest episode was having sex in quarantine, and it's just funny stuff like that.
I do think do you think people are going to have a baby boom after all of this?
Potentially.
It's potentially set up, but I don't think it's going to happen, really.
They're not going against it, I'd say. They're not saying, don't have sex, but it's
when was the other baby boom? What was the other baby boom caused by?
The war. The end of the Second World War, I think.
Question time, innit? If it happened, it's sure possible to happen now.
It might happen at the end of this, or like when like when we come out of lockdown, and then you see like everyone just go absolutely mental.
Yeah, I think thing is, like, I've been a bit quiet there because I'm not gonna lie, I've never watched David Dobrik, and if I'm being totally honest, people like that. Like, you just scroll across his channel and you just think, it's probably a bad first, but you just get the impression of you entitled fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? When he's probably not, but you just get that impression.
He's not entitled at all, because he's actually an immigrant and he's not allowed to leave the country. He's his parents are he came over from Slovenia, and he's something like an ICE immigrant, so he cannot leave America now. Otherwise, he'll be classed as an illegal immigrant if he tries to come back, so he won't be let back in the country. And because of this, he has to pay higher taxes than everyone else. So out of his earnings, I think per year, he has to pay like $2 million in taxes.
That's a lot.
But he doesn't earn like millions, but but he still earns a lot. But that's quite a big chunk of like his earnings.
Yeah.
Is that because he's in the bigger percentile of the earners that he has to pay that much?
Of course,
it's because he's an immigrant and in the bigger percentile of the money, which means he has to pay so much.
Do you know in America it's something like 65% of your earnings? I think. I want to say when you're in that higher, or it might be 45.
I think it's 45. You have to come.
What's your other favorite then, Archie?
Hugely controversial one, right? Definitely on what he's done in the past. I think Sam will agree with me on this, maybe.
Yeah, I know you're about.
He's done horrific things. There's no getting over it and moving on for it. It was completely what he said. He said he was a huge lapse in judgment and he can never be forgiven, etc. But I will have to say, I'm not sticking up for him, but his content is very, very, very good quality. It
especially
is
now,
Logan Paul.
At the moment,
yeah, especially
considering considering he's in lockdown, he's still pumping out probably the best content.
Yeah,
at the moment.
It's what really surprised me.
Yeah, so we're about Logan Paul.
Doesn't say no diving, so.
If you
Logan Paul.
If you didn't,
You've never heard of him, Tom? Mr.
Of course,
Logan
I've
Paul.
heard of him, but takes lie detector test.
Dislike Jake. I hate Jake. That's
I
one
can't.
thing
You can't
I have
watch his
to say.
brother.
Clickbait,
It's the difference between him and his brother,
Clickbait.
right? Oh yeah, they're all clickbait. Yeah. The difference between him and his brother, right? Both at the start, what it was 4 years ago, 4 years ago, they started to blow up. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were all at that point still at a young age where we could watch half childish aimed content. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's what they were aiming
like
for.
Ali A.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, exactly.
not gonna lie, I know I'm interrupting a little bit here, and it's a bit off topic, but on the topic of YouTubers like that, like, to be fair to them, people like Ali A get a lot of stick, and people like Laser Beam Ali A, but you have to admit, if you were 10 years old, that would be like banging top tier content.
Yeah. Well, we loved it when we were 10 years old,
Well,
didn't we?
I can remember when Fortnite first came out. What was
I
that?
watched
2 years
yeah.
ago. I used to watch
more than
Ali
two, I
A.
think.
I think it was maybe 3 years ago actually.
Mm.
I used to watch, and I was still what 13, 14, but
Yeah.
I'd still watch Ali A every video that came out until, and then obviously you realise that it was you don't enjoy it anymore. But I feel like the thing is though, he gets a lot of stick, and like he's
put
not
out
the
some
best
awful
YouTuber,
content.
and he's put out some horrific content. Like
Sam, we'll get
for
this video up, right? The video of
people
Ali
to
A
look
doing
at.
a 360 no
Oh
scope.
yeah, no.
360. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Headshot.
I know what you're on about.
With the pistol.
Yeah.
And it's like he's got
God.
the lowest sensitivity on. He's spinning around and he goes mental. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, obviously
the thing
it's
is, back then we would have
terrible,
loved it. We would have loved it.
but it's
100%.
great for like certain ages. And I feel like the thing with Logan Paul, what you were saying, is like he's sort of grown away from that a bit though. Like when whereas Jake hasn't really. Like when he first burst onto the scene, it was like he had the Logan Pauls and the Maverick squad or whatever the hell, and it was like he could make easy money by uploading absolute shit content, but things that people that are, you know, in a certain age range would just gobble up, and it was easy money. And I do have to give credit where credit's due. It does seem like he's matured his content and just as a person a lot, and fair play. I would never watch him. Like, just doesn't appeal to that type of content. That's probably the same reason David Dobrik. I don't really like watching people just flex about how good their life is, because just like nobody really cares. Well, obviously people care, but I don't care about.
It's understandable.
Like that.
That's one thing I was going to mention as well. In the way that he said, let's say it could have been come from the KSI fight that he had. He's humbled a lot as well, and he's gone away from that. You know, remember Derv? He used to be a big person. Rice Gun was that just flex of money in your face type of content creator, and he's matured like with his audience. Yeah, exactly. Credit where credit's due. Again, Morgs has made bank, but he's just not matured in that content, has he? He's still aiming at the.
Morgs is just, you know,
how old
he's made money, but he's not made.
He's 18.
Content.
He's 18. I don't know.
Again,
18,
I
19?
used to watch him though when I was like 13.
Did you see him at Morgs Fest when they had like I think it was like 4 bodyguards carrying pieces of string around him just to protect him from like the kids that he thought were going to attack.
As well, the bans Willany, Nico, and all that from getting in.
Yeah. Can I just say, what is your opinion on those?
Those two, I like the content. I've liked Willany's more in the past.
That type of content on YouTube.
Like what they're called, they're commentary YouTubers. They are. The whole point of them is to put people down in it. But then you get the good ones that make funny content out of doing that. I guess we can't lie. We've all laughed at it tons. But
I can't lie
content
to you.
Creators.
Again, I used to like it, but I've just totally fallen out of love with, because you realise that they're just preying on people to make a mistake or to fuck up, for them to just tear their. And the people that I like are the people like Stephen Tries, who'll give you a friendly dig, but they're not gonna try and ruin your career.
Yeah, it's more of the personality behind him that gets him.
And it's like there's
followers.
certain people that just strive to end people's careers, and it's like
it was what's his name was Leafy a bit like that, wasn't he? And that's why he kind of got shut down.
a little bit. And just like even some videos from people like Memulous and I'm Alex and
Memulous especially. He like used to
just picks it
every video.
They just nitpick every little thing. And
I can't lie. I like Memulous's content though. I like the personality behind him.
Yeah,
that's what keeps it going.
Yeah,
But he admits himself that he will admit himself that they all say it, don't there, as a joke that they bully 12-year-olds and having the past
and the thing
videos.
The thing is though, someone that does do that as well, but his content I really like is Jackmate.
Oh yeah.
I have to admit, I do like his content just because
he's had his moments though, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he has.
He spat out at Will and E, it was literally like watching a 15-year-old.
A little bit of a tissel. But if I'm being honest, I really like Jackmate just because I feel like, again, he's one of those YouTubers that he hasn't really forgotten about what made him.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, whereas you get so many YouTubers, there's so many cases of it, which is why I stopped watching a lot of like YouTubers like that on the platform. I don't know what you think, Sam, about this, but they get a certain way and then they get a lot of views and a lot of subscribers and they try to shift the content totally instead of just you've got to adapt. But you know, some people are good at certain things and that happens with a lot of, you know, I would love to go back to the days of True Geordie doing his rants about Newcastle United, but he just can't do that anymore. But it's unfortunate, really.
Watching him scream at the TV because he lost 2-1 in a career mode.
Come inside, you bellends! You fucking useless cunts!
Oh, mate. Those are the
put a video of that on right now. Just him just losing his head. Oh, they were the thing is though. It's weird watching whole communities like collapsing on themselves on YouTube, isn't it?
They're coming back out.
Community, it's dead. It's
gone.
The
thing is, it isn't though.
Momo FIFA used to get so many views. He's got like 2 million subscribers, and I remember I checked at one point he had 2 million subscribers and was averaging like 15k views.
Yeah,
like the
Minecraft
shocking.
Community.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, the Minecraft community is bad, but it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
The Minecraft community is my guilty pleasure.
No, I love
it.
Oh, I love the Minecraft. I love watching Minecraft videos, but like Minecraft, they're never going to get the views. What I was saying by that, Sam, is they're never going to get the views that they did maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh.
But they're still providing elite
Captain
content.
Sparkles get 15 million views a video.
Whereas I genuinely think some of the FIFA content created now is absolutely horrendous.
But it's the game. The game's rubbish now.
And it's not what it used to be. What really, I could go on a rant about FIFA for a long, long time right now, but you wouldn't be able to stop me talking about it if I'm being honest. I've got so many problems with that game.
Was the peak of the FIFA community? It had to be the strip FIFA videos.
They were amazing.
Oh my God.
Jessica Rose.
Jesus. Do any of you remember Wheel of Fortune?
That's my
favourite.
That was an elite series. And I remember the Slazenger Pot of Destiny with Danny Whitehead. And then, I loved that. Absolutely used to love that. Where he'd pull a player out of a pot. Like Once a Lion and Forever Blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to literally sit and religiously watch them.
I don't blame you. Let's check right now what those type of YouTubers are averaging on their videos.
Well, Spencer FC is going to get... He's obviously gone into things like #United. And
he's still kid-friendly though as well, isn't he, Spencer?
Yeah, he's a bit
not moved into the adult audience.
We'll put Spence FC.
I have to just throw it out there. I mean...
Yeah, his last FIFA video got... Well, the last two of them. Well, it's going
probably
down.
Probably pack openings, though, aren't they?
Yeah. These are #United ones. I'm getting
Alright.
200k views to 100k views.
We haven't heard from you, Sam, yet. I know we know David Dobrik's your favourite, but who is in your top
Yeah.
few that every time they upload, you'll watch it?
You're on it.
I'm not gonna lie, like I know both of you don't really like them anymore and don't really watch them, but the Sidemen is what
I like the Sidemen.
it's what I watch
Yeah.
constantly.
As much as I don't really like them at all, I admit that their content is incredibly good for the most part.
To say
It is very good
there's
content.
7 of them who but all of them have 2 channels, even if like some of them like Rotashaw doesn't upload on his second one much. They all have 2 channels. Vicstar has 3. They all look after the main. They all have the main channel, and then they work on the second Sidemen channel as well. But it's just sometimes like there was a period where KSI got a bit cocky. Not Rotashaw, Mini Minter got a bit cocky, and then some of them like Josh have always been a bit boring. And then there was Vic, who's probably the hardest working in the Sidemen with 3 channels, and he was just and he was still getting bullied. Like he'll say something and then they'll still be bullying him, and it's just I think if they'd moved on and they'd kept getting the content that they put out now, and they'd sort of moved on from like bullying Vic and everything like that, they'd be probably a better off position. But also to do with earlier on about Jackmate and everything. I was just wondering, did you ever watch the Roast of the Sidemen?
Oh,
Yeah, I did watch that.
I
really enjoyed Jackmate's segment on it. Yeah,
I've watched literally like I want to say recently. I've watched about 90% of the Sidemen videos because I do really like them. There's something if you get home from school, let's say like we've been recently, you're working hard, year 11, you just go home. I'd stick on a Sidemen Sunday type of video. You know what I mean? Not even the old ones, just the ones where they're doing the Tinder swipes.
The roast.
You can always get a laugh out of them. The Roast of the Sidemen is good, really good. I thought I can't even remember whose girlfriend it was. It might have been Mini Minter's. They were just going in on her.
Yeah, because Callux and Cal Freezy went on, and they're really close with them, and they just went at Talia, who's Mini Minter's girlfriend, and like there'd be no roasts about Mini Minter. They would all just be to do with his girlfriend.
Oh, it was really funny, wasn't it? Stephen Tries is. What I was thinking with the Sidemen. They're definitely. I was going to mention them as well. Do you think the way they've kept the same members has helped them or not?
Yes, that's one thing I have to give credit to them for. If I'm being totally honest, it just for me, I don't really particularly like the Sidemen just because, again, I'm more of I love watching. For me, I love watching YouTubers that don't have too much of a following. Just because I feel like their relationship with their audience is just so much better, and they're more appreciative and understanding of. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not just making millions of pounds, so they've got a bit more connection with the audience. Yeah, they care much more about the audience. So
sometimes they can't help that, can they? When they get so big, they can't respond to all the comments,
of course
etc.
you can't. Of course you can't.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
It's a closer.
Do you think that's why also FaZe failed a bit because they're all constantly changing members, etc. And that's why it just went downhill.
They went too big. I'd say FaZe went too big because they had the original members, and there was like. I remember FaZe Ray used to be so good, and then when they got too big, they were launching
also one of my favorites.
They were launching esports teams, but they weren't keeping it just like Call of Duty. They were doing it in like League of Legends and everything like that, and Rainbow Six Siege and games like that. And I was just thinking,
it's like they tried to make a big establishment, which you gotta respect. If it worked,
it worked more than they could chew.
Yeah, and then they just didn't have the best content, really, did they?
Yeah, because they at the time when they were the small group, they were compared to the American Sidemen, but now I can't compare them because FaZe is too big to say.
It's too big but you'd still take Sidemen over FaZe, wouldn't you? It's a bit weird.
Yeah, and but then also that takes into our nationality as well, though, because of course we're British due to
Yeah.
The title of the
Maybe it is a
podcast.
bit of, yeah. But they've all seen better days with their content, really. FaZe Banks videos I used to love watching, but realistically, a lot of it was him flexing his money, all right? Him flexing cool things he could do, and he wasn't editing the videos,
And his
etc. He was getting
girlfriend.
people to do it. Yeah. Alyssa Violet. Yeah. That was probably, what, like 2 years ago? That was me.
And when he was living with Rice Gum and everything like that.
Yeah, that was around that time.
They just got
As well,
big.
yeah. As well, what do you think of all the diss tracks that went around? That was like a huge part of YouTube. Everyone
Yeah, I
got a bit
remember
of fame
that.
off that.
I remember that. Yeah.
I thought it was
Personally,
good for the
I
community.
loved it. I loved it. Yeah, half it was it fake?
I did, but
Probably.
I look back now and I cringe so badly at it.
Some of the songs, though, I've got to admit were very, very good, very funny type of songs. You know what I mean? Funny laugh ones. You can
Rota
laugh along
Shorts
listening
were
to.
hilarious.
Yeah, his were the best. I'd put up there with the best. His Simon's was also good.
Yeah, Simon's was a bit more.
It was a bit like more of
professional.
a bomb one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because no one was expecting Simon to drop one because everyone was thinking like it was just going to be between like Harry, KSI, the American ones, and Ethan, and then because Vic actually ended up dropping one, but Vic and Simon were the ones
Vic's
everyone was
awful,
thinking,
wasn't it?
yeah, they're not going to drop one, along with like Toby and Josh, because Toby and Josh stayed out of it completely because they said they were going to do that, and then suddenly Simon drops this one, and it's not even just like a fully piss take one like Harry's was and Vic Stars was. It was like he had a decent flow in the song.
What was just some of them were god awful for the money that they were spending on them.
Yeah,
They definitely made it back from the views though.
Yeah.
A lot of it was leached off. That's when JMX did his diss towards Jessica Rose.
If I'm being honest, boys, I know I'm just going to switch the topic up a little bit. Just say, what's your opinions on like sport, like gaming? Do you still watch gaming YouTubers a lot, or not really?
Not as much as I used to at all. No.
Yeah.
That was like
See,
once the
for
main
me,
part.
that's all I watch. I watch a lot of American sports. So
I watch
anything
American sports,
about basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, if I looked at my subscribe account, I watch so many NBA 2K YouTubers, and I watch so many like NBA discussion YouTubers. That's probably what fills 95%. And then, if I'm being honest, I'll just then click on whatever comes up on my recommended, and that's just how I am, really. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not a massive lover of mainstream.
I know you don't like watching the dunks, etc., but there's compilations of players dunking, etc. like that with basketball.
Yeah, no, I do
love
watch that.
them.
I love watching that. Yeah, when I'm a little bit bored, I'll watch that. But I'm more like just watch people talking about sports. To be honest,
I'll tell
basically
you
a match of the day on YouTube for other sports.
I'll tell you a good sports one. Copper 90. That is probably one of my favorite channels at the moment, especially with the documentaries, because they launched Copper 90 Stories and they did the Derby Day series, and I think that is one of the top quality, because like not only is it just like nice to watch a bit of football from different countries, they go like in detail about the history of the derby and everything like that, and it sort of builds your knowledge on it, and I find that interesting.
I'm also would say on the topic of that, if any of you have watched the On the Road series from Smith, sorry, that's a very.
I used to watch Smith all the time with Palmer's FC.
Very good. Yeah, On the Road from Smith is really good. It's like a fan's perspective of going to games, and it's funny, and I really enjoy that. But also, they do a podcast called Under the Cosh. They're a really, really good football podcast. They are really funny, and they do like their version of an on the road type thing. And if you like that away days thing, Sam, and if you're in general a fan of football, they're really good. Like they've got John Parkin. He's one of the main guys. He's a cult hero really in football. And that's probably one of my favourite we'll get on to podcasts, I think, a bit later. But that is definitely up there for me.
Yeah, I might give that a listen because it's just sort of the right time to get into more podcast listening.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I do love Smith. I used to watch Palmer's FC religiously. Just as I started to peter out and fold, etc.
I never really watched them. I used to watch #United a bit, and then I got into Palmer's because this was before hashtag went.
Oh god, that game against Palmer's in hashtag.
I've never been so passionate for a YouTube game in my life.
Yeah,
I hated that game so much. I hated hashtag United.
It must have been rigged. It was.
I hated hashtag United for a
Months,
period of months after that
Yeah.
game.
The fact that I'm sure there was a goal that was from his own halfway line and it was called offside.
Oh it was ridiculous.
It was, wasn't it? And there was fouls in the penalty box that weren't given. It was especially because Palmer's, as big as they were the underdogs in that game.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on YouTube events? Like, do you know? So there was the Wembley Cup that used to go on, and then do you remember the side?
I used to love that.
Sidemen used to do.
Oh, the Wembley Cup.
I think the Wembley Cup got a bit of overdone. Do you know what I mean? The last one.
They did it too many. Yeah, the last one was terrible.
When they did
the last one they did when they did 4 teams was terrible.
The build up was always better than the actual match.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't even. I'll be honest. I'd watch maybe a little bit of the match live, but there was never. You didn't want to sit there and watch the whole 90 minutes. Well, that was me personally. But I'd watch every second of the build up.
Same.
I'd always just put it on in the background because the football was rubbish quality. Like even
the half
legends.
in Rice Gun was one of the best moments.
Yeah,
I remember the match. Robbie Fowler. Oh, was it? That's my bad. But the Robbie Fowler, he dominated. He was I didn't realize how good someone could be technically, even when they're out for fitness. He was so good.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he banged that free kick, and he was just turning players inside out.
I feel like another thing, a massive topic, boys. I know we're changing topics quite a lot, but there's not too much to say. Do you know what I mean? We could talk about nostalgia about YouTube for ages, but I'm not sure that makes too interesting of a listen. But one thing I think we could talk about in depth quite a bit is, what do you see the future of YouTube as? Because I feel like it's so weird to think that how much can change in 5 years, and what you guys sort of see YouTube becoming in the future. Because I genuinely do. This is just my opinion, but I genuinely feel like there's definitely a move away from sort of mainstream TV and much more towards sort of YouTube, especially in our generation and younger generations. Like nobody really sits there now that I know of and watches telly.
Yeah, you're completely
it's
right.
more your parents.
I think telly is going to see a massive downfall. Sports will stay the same. Some will dip. I don't think there'll be a merger. Maybe YouTube will become a channel on TV. It could be right there.
If you watch TV now, you start seeing YouTubers going on talk shows and maybe starting their own TV shows. But then you also see TV shows starting YouTube channels. So that's they're two separate platforms, but they're merging into
one.
And it's also like
the content on YouTube is going to take a complete flip. I think so soon.
Yeah, like with sports games, they're starting to come onto social media platforms like Amazon Prime. They've got themselves Premier League deal.
I totally disagree. I mean, I could rant about that for a long time as well.
I thought you'd say that.
But
I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be what's going to be happening. Like YouTube might buy themselves a stake in, say, the
Premier
NBA.
League, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
They already have. They show NBA games on YouTube, which is a godsend to me.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
I mean, the NBA is not on anymore, but the thing is, it's a bit off topic with YouTube. I know we're talking about YouTube, but on the topic of things like the Amazon Prime thing in football, I do think it's absolutely just not right at all, because you pay for Sky and then BT Sport comes on and they take the Champions League. So if you want to watch all football, because you can't not watch the Champions League if you're a big football fan.
Yeah.
You're having to justify spending £20 a month on BT Sport, whereas other
You've got
than
Sky
every
as well.
couple of Wednesdays when the Champions League's on, it's like Australian League football on, and nobody watches that. So you're paying for that, and then you're paying for Sky, and then now it's Amazon. It's just becoming
I don't
more
disagree.
and more
I don't
expensive.
disagree with that. But I know where you're coming from. But I don't have Sky Sports. I don't have BT Sports, or I don't have Amazon. But I can see the appeal to Amazon now because we can't afford Sky Sports because Sky is quite expensive already. And then
It's not £80 a month, but it's very expensive.
On top of the normal Sky is expensive, and then you've got your BT Sports, but we're already on Sky, so BT Sports is too expensive. And then we see Amazon Prime. We don't have it, but I just could see the appeal from maybe people who can't afford the Sky Sports or don't want to put that money in. They see the cheaper option of Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you're right.
Even if you just want a little bit of sports, it might just be a nice bit. But I know where you're coming from saying it's a bit of like, for you who wants to be watching most games, it's wrong.
Well, in my opinion, I just think it's just greed, isn't it, by the Premier League and football leagues in general, because all football should be I mean, ideally, it should all be on one channel that you pay for, and that's got all the football on, which is never going to happen. But
I think that's going to happen in the future. I'm not going to lie. The way, if you think about it, right, it's BT Sport, it's Sky Sport. You're paying for the individual sport package, or you pay for the whole thing, which is even more. The way Amazon have done it, you buy Amazon Prime, which is just everything, and it's at a lower price. You think about it, they're such a big company. They're the biggest company, aren't they? I want to say that.
Mad company.
Mad. They've got all this money. If it goes well with the way it's going, and they see more buys and interest from
he's going to be a
Amazon Prime,
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of his money from, but he cheated on his wife, didn't he?
Yeah.
If it keeps going that way, and he's making all this money, and it goes up because of buying it, he right now, I'm not saying it factually, but probably he could buy the whole Premier League. Let's be real. He probably could.
I mean, football's going to go full circle anyway.
But then it's all going to be on one channel.
What I think should happen.
Do you not see that as a good thing?
Yeah, I do very much so.
What I think should happen with the ownership of it, I think this is coming from a Leeds fan who just wants to be watching the Leeds games rather than paying for something, and then maybe some weekends you're not even getting to watch your team. I just want to watch the Leeds games, and sometimes I can't, and most of the time I actually can't make it to Ellen Road to watch it live. So what I would want to happen is the club takes back ownership of filming rights. So say Leeds, you can pay maybe £10-20 a month to watch the games at home live, and say all the teams take that back. But then also you can still have the Sky Sports if someone wants to be watching multiple teams.
The whole league.
Yeah.
I agree with that, although then again
they kind of do that though, don't they? With like when you're scrolling through your Sky channels, you've got your Chelsea FC channel.
I feel like this is honestly genuinely a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Like, this could be talked about for hours. I genuinely feel
really
like
difficult, isn't it?
Because, well, it's just we all obviously have our own opinions on there's so many possible routes that you could take with it as well. And the fact of the matter is money talks, and as long as there's money in football, they won't think of the fans. And that's just the unfortunate reality we live in, because, business doesn't, people aren't in business to make friends, they're in business to make money. It's all a brand.
Beautiful way of putting it.
Because if you look at
money is a businessman's best friend. Doesn't matter who, you know what I mean. And that is honestly how it is, and that's how it will be. But as for the state of YouTube in the future, I do feel like it's
gonna go
definitely leaning more mainstream, 100%, which I don't like, but then that's just again how it is. Money talks, and the big corporations will always make the most of little things like something that started off with people in the bedroom making simple videos. It's now you've got whole production crews behind these people.
That's one good thing though. The quality of videos is going like into a next level. Like taking Sidemen for an example, they did a Dragon's Den. They did a Dragon's Den Sidemen Sunday, I think a few weekends ago, and that the quality of that studio and all the camera crew, that could have been put on TV as like the normal Dragon's Den. So, and that's free content, which I just think is quite impressive.
It is brilliant, yeah. But again, I don't. That's where me and you definitely differ there, Sam. And I probably differ to a lot of people. Like I would say I'm 100% in the minority with that. But I would much rather watch. If I'm being honest, I would much rather watch somebody sitting in the bedroom looking at some clips of the NBA and talking about their opinion on it, which, you know, anyone could make with a webcam and a microphone, than watching a whole production crew, because I just feel like it's just too mainstream and and someone sitting in the bedroom can say whatever the hell they want. And they don't really need to give a shit. You know,
there's no holding back.
Whereas it's just way too mainstream. I don't like, you know, I'm much more of
controlled by the big corporations.
Yeah, it's just too much control. I feel like, for me, I liked what YouTube was, where it was just something that anybody could do. You didn't need
money. You didn't need
money to be good. And now, I mean, we're obviously going to be setting up this podcast on it, and let's be honest, the truth is we're most likely going to be talking to Three Men and His Dog potentially, but
we don't have
that's
money.
not why we're doing it.
Yeah, when I was trying to set up all of the accounts to publish this podcast, all I could find to publish it on was YouTube and this app called Castbox, which I don't even know if that's going to work yet, because all other podcast places that we can publish, as well as SoundCloud and Spotify, you have to pay to upload on there, which is crazy. Like we couldn't afford to put our work onto all of those different platforms because we don't have proper jobs, and it's just a difficult market to get into now. About 10 years ago, you would have been able to publish a podcast online for free. It's just weird now.
And I guess that's basically the same point with the whole internet, isn't it? The big corporations have taken over, individualized everything, and you've got to pay to put anything most places now.
Yeah, if you look at big podcasts now, the ones that are famous, I'd say YouTube ones, some of them aren't in this, but if you go onto Spotify and look at them, the big podcasts have all been they're all produced by a big corporation now. And like, even I think the Jack Makes podcast, he's even owned by a big corporation now as well.
Yeah, and it's just little things like that, though, isn't it? It's just, that's what does my head in now. It's so hard. Everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be YouTubers now.
It's a dream job, isn't it, really?
It's just not fair now. Well, life isn't fair, but you know, it's not the same now, is it? Because you won't get these stories of your KSIs where he started with a potato camera, really playing
Simon
FIFA.
was holding it, wasn't he? Simon used to hold the camera.
He was playing FIFA in his bedroom, and he was entertaining. He was entertaining, and that's why his talent got him to where he is now. And obviously that's one thing I respect about KSI. You know, his talent got him to where he was because he didn't have the brilliant setups. Whereas nowadays, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel now, you need to lay out at least $1,000.
Half a grand
Just
to a
to
grand sort of area.
Just to
If
get,
you want to get off your feet.
yeah.
It could be $1,000 over a year's time, though, couldn't it?
And it's not only that; it's just like, it's just
Like
really,
watching, who else
it
did it really
really
well?
annoys me.
True Geordie's one of those stories, isn't it?
Yeah, he
I was watching
started.
a video on it. It was his
Yeah,
iPhone 5
I
put
love
up
the True
against an
Geordie.
yeah.
I
He said up to
absolutely love him.
100k, I think he had. 100k. He had
Yeah.
his iPad put up against his ironing board with the iron behind it.
And then obviously he gets the views and subscribers, and he goes
because of him.
mainstream,
Yeah.
which is the sense of anybody. That's the thing. I'm not criticizing people like the Sidemen, like the True Geordie, for
It's
getting
just a
more
shame,
famous
isn't it?
and getting better stuff, because anybody would, you know. If this, I mean, this podcast won't, let's be honest, but if this podcast all of a sudden started getting lots of views, like hundreds of thousands of views, and we had the option,
You'd
if a
upgrade,
brand
wouldn't you?
reached out to us, you would take it 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. But it's just my personality. As if you had a quid for every time I've said this podcast,
I was
you'd have a
thinking
bit of money. But it's just my personality that I
£5
prefer the people that I prefer the little startups.
Yeah. It's
It's
good
It's not a
watching like that as
criticism
well.
of it. Yeah, it's not a
you reckon-
criticism of people that don't have them, but it's just how I like it better.
It's just everyone's preference. Well, this is a question I wanted to ask, right, as well. Who is your? We've talked about a lot of male YouTubers in this video. Who's your favorite female YouTuber?
Wow.
Whoa.
I don't watch any. I can't even lie.
I do watch some. I'm just checking now which ones I do actually watch. I've got to say that there was, I don't know if she's a YouTuber, but that do you know that streamer who had Tourette's on
Oh yeah.
on the Sidemen's Tinder video? She's hilarious.
I've seen that one. She's got like multiple personalities, hasn't she? The
Yeah.
Tourette's, but her own Tourette's has personalities.
Yeah.
I think sometimes like her Tourette's takes over so much that like it starts rapping, which I
Bloody
think.
hell.
I've got to say, some of the girls in the vlog squad actually produce some really good content.
Well, who with the girls would you put in that?
There's. I've just got to check this now because I don't want to be getting.
Check for the names.
Yeah. Well, of course, like Liza Koshy, she doesn't really post anymore, but when she did, she used to do some.
She's funny. I'll get.
Helga and I are doing a Snapchat Q&A.
Helga, I don't know. I don't think Liza would like this.
Liza would not like what?
Your hand in my butt crack.
Give it that. She's weird, but she's funny.
Yeah, she used to be. She used to produce some hilarious content, and it's sort of gone away now. There's Karina, do you know the one who's like a porn star, I think. I don't know if she
that's what I've noticed. A lot of porn stars have come over to YouTube.
Yeah, like do you know Lana Rhodes with Mike from
with Mike.
Logan.
Riley Reid's in a lot of videos.
Yeah, they're really good friends with porn stars now.
Yeah,
it's a bit uncomfortable.
I think that's sort of their tactic they've used as their audience is aged. Well, they've gone from 11-year-olds to 15-year-olds. What do they do? Wank, porn.
Yeah.
Let's get porn stars on.
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it?
But then also,
it's clever. It's not bad content. I'll give them that. It's quite funny content. Some of it. It's very sexualized, which what brings the views in. To be honest, they'll stick the girl straight on the top of that. So I was thinking, I don't know if they've got accounts. Like you said, that girl there's got an account that hangs around the vlog squad. I can't
stand things like that. I can't lie.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
I'll come on to it there is a topic that there's a genre of things on YouTube which I used to watch, and now I've
Mm.
just had to stop watching because of it's just become totally sexualized, and that's ASMR content.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's a
I was
massively
thinking of
popular
mukbang and
genre.
ASMR in my head.
That's
Yeah.
a massively popular genre on YouTube that's just been ruined, absolutely ruined
Sexy nurse tells you your
by.
knee's going to be fine.
Oh well, it's not only that.
ASMR.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I've had problems. I really got into ASMR this time last year, really, and it was just nothing but a method to get to sleep. I would stick a video on,
Mm.
like one of those things where one of those ones by I can't remember what he was called, but he'd do like 6 hour videos and he was just tapping on bowls and shit for
Yeah,
like 5 hours.
water sounds, etc.
And you'd wake
Put
up
you
in
to
the
sleep.
morning and it'd still be going because it was like an 8 hour video or something. But
Oh, I'll take it.
it's like I would watch that just because it helped me get to sleep, and then my sleeping problems went away, and I stopped watching it, and then I started getting sleeping problems again. And I thought, what could I do? And I tried like putting like meditation videos on. It didn't really work for me, and I thought, oh, I'll revisit ASMR. And you type in ASMR now, and it's like bloody soft porn, isn't it? There's
It's
just
a bit like
tits in the
what
thumbnail.
strip FIFA became.
There's just tits
With
in the
FIFA.
in like
Yeah.
most
I
the
agree with that.
thumbnails, and it's all sexualized. It's like licking your ears, ear to ear, licking, ear biting. Like
So it was
that. If
basically,
that's not sexualized, then what is? That's ridiculous.
yeah, it was like when the YouTubers, the commentary lot that we talked about earlier, and they started flaming ASMR because of the weird videos. Those weird videos sort of take over, and they've just become the sexualized weird videos.
Gives
the
it a
whole
bad
genre.
name though. ASMR. Like
It was made for a good reason, wasn't it?
I genuinely quite like. Sometimes if I'm, say, like my favorite type of ASMR, when I would listen to it is, I'd listen to ASMR sport videos. So it'd just be like they'd be talking about sport, but they'd just do it in an ASMR way, which is a bit cringy, but it's like, nah. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
It's like interesting a little bit, but then it's also like it's also relaxing. And sometimes I'd just put it on when I wanted to relax for a bit. But now I just can't literally stick it on. It just ruined it, really, having all that.
I'll tell you one thing that I do like, and it sort of links together to the past few topics. And so this is a female YouTuber that I actually really like, and her name's Stephanie Sue, and she's a mukbang YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
And like the most mukbangs, I absolutely hate. Like the ones that are ASMR mukbangs, they're now really weird. And when they eat really weird food, I can't be dealing with that. But but her and her boyfriend, they literally just eat these like just normal meals. And yes, some of them are a bit different, but she does a story time, so it's basically just like a podcast while eating food. And I used to love watching her videos. I've gone off. I've not been watching them. I've not gone off them, but I've not been watching them recently.
Yeah.
She's probably the only mukbang, because like most mukbangs
There was a
are
big
like
scandal,
ASMR
wasn't there?
ones.
There was a fat mukbang guy, right? Basically, he started to lose it in some beef. He was like just losing his
Oh,
head.
that's everywhere now, isn't it?
Yeah,
He was like
It's
losing his head,
everywhere.
going crazy with beef, and he just was a big nonce, really. He
Nick,
was like
Yeah, but
talking
he
to
was
girls,
like
etc.
used to be
Carter as a
really
paladin.
skinny.
That's
Yeah,
it.
he used to
Yeah,
be
him.
really skinny.
He was.
He
I don't know.
started.
I saw a video on that. He just loses his mind. I was a bit confused.
I'm just looking on my search history on YouTube, what sort of stuff I've been watching.
Would you say that Stephanie Sue's your favorite female YouTuber, Sam?
Well, because I've not actually been watching her for a while, but I like I remember now when the content is actually really good. But I don't actually know who's my favourite female YouTuber. Because like sometimes some of the good things I do is I just go on the explore or trending page, and sometimes
Yeah,
there's some like
same.
good
Yeah.
female YouTubers on there.
I think my favourite one would have to be there's this little group of them, right? They're about our age to like 3 years above us, and they're like females from around Ireland and the whole of the Britain Ireland's a few of them down south.
Oh no, I just forgot. This is weird that I like them, but what's her name? The Irish
Oh, Olivia McNeil.
Olivia O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olivia O'Neill. I like that's what I was gonna say my favourite is. I quite enjoy watching her content.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a
What
guilty
is her
pleasure, really.
content?
Olivia
It's just-
O'Neill and Chloe
Yeah.
Hodgson. Have you ever watched her?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
type him in right now.
Basically,
Olivia
Wardy,
O'Neill.
they're about 3 years older than us, and it's just showing what most girls that age do. You know, go to Bali with a boyfriend, etc.
Olivia Neal,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Day in My Life Lockdown Edition, Amsterdam
Yeah.
with my boyfriend.
You like the look of that?
Yeah, stuff like that.
She's a very
It's-
good-looking girl, but
Yeah.
not my cup of tea content-wise. I can't lie.
I just watch it because it's like it is a guilty pleasure, like watching some
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's a bit of a little bit of chaotic energy behind it, which sometimes you
Genuinely,
can
I'm
find
looking
annoying,
at my
but she's doing it to
search
the right amount.
history, and it's literally like 95%
Men.
B-ball.
95%
Men.
NBA content, and then
What
there's
about
little
female
like I'll
NBA?
go on little WNBA.
Yeah, that's what I was going
But
to
I'll
say.
go on-
They're splitting up a spot onto all the different thingies, like all the different Sky, BT. Do you think that'll see a
Yeah.
rise in female
No,
sports?
Yeah.
no,
You don't
and I
think?
think we move on because female sport is trash. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. No, some female sport in some sports are entertaining, but I'm sorry, but that Megan Rapinoe, for example,
Mhm.
she tried to argue that women should be paid as much as men, and what I would
Oh.
put back to her is, why don't you bring the two sports together so the women and the men play for the same teams, and then you'll make no money because you're not even would be good enough to play in the National League North because you're useless and you get absolutely bullied off the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That's
There's
just
one
a
thing I was
fact,
going to say,
but
right?
nowhere
The
near
way
as
I
good.
look at it with women and men's thing, it's a business, isn't it? Sport's now business, and the
Yeah.
revenue that the business makes and its profits can be put down. Well, it's the revenue, isn't it? The revenue is you pay your workers from your revenue, don't you?
I forgot about that video. Yeah.
So if your company's making £1 million, you can afford to pay your workers more for the work that they're doing to make you that £1 million. If they're making £1,000, they're not going to get paid the same, even if they're working just as hard, etc. You're not going to get that
Yeah.
money, and that's why men get paid more than women in sports. Really, the revenue of the business is so much higher; they're going to be afforded to pay those
There you go.
ludicrous money.
I found I had to scroll down a long way, but I found the last ASMR video I watched. There
What
you
was it
go.
on?
It was a eating delicious donut dining by someone called Sufficient Whispers.
Mm. How many subscribers
know.
does the channel have?
It's
How big
got
is it?
126k views. It's a guy,
Mm.
and I watched it for I think it looks like I watched it for about 2 minutes, and then that was it.
I'll have to say
So
something
it must have been very good.
on the women's sport, because I quite enjoy watching some women's sport, and so women's football, yes, they're not anywhere near the standards of some of the male footballers, but they are trying as hard as the male, and you've got to give it to them. But it is also to do with the business that they're not getting paid as much. But then there are some sports where women are equal on men or perhaps better. If you look at hockey, you take a women's team and a men's team, and they could play each other, and they're on most of the time. You'll get the women are actually could be better than the men, which is, and then if you look at sports like netball, You don't even
Women are
that's
miles better.
it's
Yeah.
a woman's sport, but
What do you think you should stick with those stereotypes?
See,
no,
that's what
no.
does my head in about it. If I'm being totally honest, though, guys, that's what annoys me because, see, nobody complains about men not being able to be given the opportunity to play netball
Yeah.
and men not being there's other women's sports, beach volleyball, for
Men
maybe
men
for
are
the
allowed
wrong reasons.
men can
Yeah,
do
but
that.
maybe for the wrong reasons. But more people watch the women's version. And there's loads of there is a few other sports, horse riding, like
Yeah,
equestrian.
but
I'm not talking jockeying, but I'm talking equestrian.
Yeah.
it goes. But
You
then that
know,
goes against what you're saying with the football because you're talking about women.
yeah, no,
You're saying women can't really be with the football and everything. Women can't get paid as
yeah,
much as
and
men.
that's
But
how I think it should
it's
be,
different.
though, mate. That's
It's
that's
different
the
both
point I'm
ways, though,
trying
isn't
to
it?
make.
Because as a species, men are always going to be, in most cases, not in all, but in most
Stronger
cases,
and faster and
physically
genetically,
dominant, really. The work rate should go into the payments, definitely, and how hard they work, 100%. But if you've got the more physical aspect of a species playing, doing something, they'll do it most likely better
For
than if the women are
example,
doing it. But if you've got women playing netball, like we're talking about,
yeah,
and you could stick
exactly.
people that have the physical potential to be better in there, you can sort of see where he's coming from in that aspect.
And not only things like netball, there's other sports that I just feel like there's certain sports that women excel at better than men, and there's certain sports that men excel at better than women, and that's just how life is. That's why life's so unique, because it's different. And I feel like we are just trying to make everything the same,
Yeah.
or let's
Equality.
I mean, I'm all for equality, obviously, but I've had first-hand
everyone is.
experience. Last year I played against England women's cricket team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing with a team, and yes, they beat us. I have to admit, we lost the game, right? But we were playing with a team of players that I'd only met really one or two before. An age range of, I think the oldest there was 16, 17, and the youngest I think there was a 12-year-old playing for us. So, you've got a massive array of ages. And we gave England women a good game, the full England women's national team, who were out there training an hour before us. And we just tipped up. Durham, we're not the biggest county in the world. It's not like we're a massive, it wasn't really a talented team. And if I'm being honest,
have you played in better teams?
If I didn't drop a batsman first ball who then got 100, or batswoman, I dropped first ball and she went and got 100. And if I didn't drop her, we'd have walked that game so easily. And she got 100. But it was like, it's just the physical of, like, we had nobody in that team that could bowl fast. But,
you're playing against fully matured women. And
I
not
faced
the best
one of the
team
best
you played
women's
in.
bowlers in the world, apparently. And, and I'm not trying to say this to sound arrogant at all, but I've faced better bowlers. I've faced much better bowlers in club third team cricket on a Sunday.
Really?
And that's not me trying to put it down at all. I have.
Not even harshly, generally.
I'm not being harsh at all.
That is that's first hand as well.
And that's me as a player, and it's the brutally honest truth. As much as I admire the England women, professional women's cricketers, I can't lie and pretend I've faced harder bowlers playing for Richmond third team on a Sunday against, grade 8 and third team on a Sunday. I've faced much better bowlers than one of the best women's bowlers in the world who got 6 wickets in the World Cup final and won them the world. I'm not saying she was bad, because for the competition that she plays against, she's one of the best in the world. But as much as I didn't want to say it, I just have to admit that that's just the case, and that's just down to the fact that physically,
utmost respect towards them. But
yeah, with the utmost respect. That's
Yeah,
just
there's
the
a-
fact, and that's the way it was. And
That is
that's just because
an amazing point.
physically, they're not as gifted. They don't have the tools,
Sound, yeah.
and they're not they bowl 65 miles an hour, and that's what you get kids under 14 that bowl that. The boys, and that's not a criticism. I'm not trying to put them down.
What
It's
do you
just
think when
that
it comes to
solidifies
the
point.
men? Obviously, all this transgender sports stuff was a big topic a few years ago. Say it is obviously going to be unfair, but when the women come across to the men's sport like that, or if you were to be, I know you're not gonna, I don't know, but I would personally think you wouldn't, but you go transgender, and
Yeah,
you
obviously
dropped
not,
into
but,
you drop into the women's team. You're like, yeah, you're a woman now. You're
obviously
playing,
that's unfair.
and you've
isn't
had
it?
you've done it when you're 22, so you're fully matured male, and you've had testosterone running through you this whole time to develop your body better. You're going to drop in there so much more physically developed than women.
It's a massive question though in terms of like what is right and wrong though, because a lot of people argue
snowflakes.
a lot of people argue that men and women's sport should be completely equal and they should be getting completely equal pay. But then as soon as a man becomes a woman, he goes into the women's sport, then it becomes a matter of, is it right for that person to do that? Because they are at such some of the women will get such a disadvantage compared to the woman who was a man, which is
and then it's as well with but then that's the exact same for genetics, isn't it? Really, just in general, doesn't that just completely get rid of that argument? If you put someone his parents are both 5'6", and he's maybe grown taller than reached 5'8", and then you put him against someone with Nordic genes or Samoan genes, let's say, and they've turned out very, very tall.
Yeah, but it isn't the same though. It isn't the same.
Really, but it's because down to a genetic argument, isn't it?
It is, but it's not the same because they're actively changing their gender.
Yeah,
they're actively going. They're actively I mean, obviously, a transgender. I would be very surprised if. Well, it's probably happened because it's the world is a very big place full of different personalities. But I'd be surprised if someone primarily changed gender just to play sport. However,
there has been a few in weightlifting. I'll say that.
They're still, doing that. They're still doing that, and in my opinion, that shouldn't be allowed. It's just you can't have your cake and eat it.
There's
just
everywhere
how it is
in sport though. That's another example of people just cutting corners, isn't it?
Wasn't there
to be the best of the best?
Wasn't there this really difficult case with this female runner, but she wasn't transgender, but she's
Semenya or something. Yeah.
And because of the high level of testosterone, they didn't know whether to disqualify her or not. And I think that's too far. I think that she shouldn't be disqualified because if that's natural levels of testosterone, then I believe that she should be allowed to race as a woman.
If it came out as if it was injected testosterone, that's perfectly fine. But if it's something she can't control, but then again, testosterone, the food you can eat, I remember I think it's cranberry juice. The more cranberry juice actually increases your testosterone.
Yeah, that's something natural as well, though, isn't it? Cranberry juice.
Do you think?
Natural. Yeah, I'd say, but surely you can't drink so much cranberry juice. Get the level of
if you change your whole diet towards, let's say, protein-based, etc., and stuff like that, that's just another, not cutting corners, but becoming the best you can be.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is with drinking cranberry juice. Would be just you're becoming the best athlete you probably can be. It's not. I think this runner has naturally high levels of testosterone.
I think it was something to do with her having, you can be genetically male and genetically female, even if you are a male.
Yeah.
Or you are a female. Yeah. That's why you get people that develop breast tissue as a man.
Yeah, she was genetically male on the inside, but she was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
that might.
Which that's just an example of genetics
That's
making
just
you a better
that's
athlete.
just genetically getting lucky, I guess. That's just an example of that.
Well, it could be
It's all a
something
very
different,
difficult topic, isn't it?
I mean, that's a massively controversial topic, and if we have upset, I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
if anyone
it
is
needs to be said.
listening, and like I've said a few things that are a bit maybe controversial there, but at the end of the day, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one, you know, and at the end of the day,
we're all for equality here. Like,
we're all for
Yeah.
equality. No, nobody here is by no means in what I was saying or what I've said. Do I think women are less than men? I just think that there's facts in life, and there's some things that are just fact and we can't ignore. And if anyone has been offended by that, then I didn't. That's not obviously what I was meaning to get at. It's just my opinion, and
in case there's
as
any
I would
misconveyed
respect anybody's
opinions.
anybody else's
Have an open
opinion.
discussion like we are with them.
Yeah.
If we wanted to. Come
This
on the
is the way
podcast.
about it, and yet again, though, I know this is another massive swinging change of topic, but the type of thing that we're doing as 16-year-old lads, it really, I mean,
I see what you
there's
mean.
grown men and women, not only in Parliament, but you see things on Twitter and out in the streets and things, that they can't have a difference of opinion on certain things without being just turning into absolute babies.
Yeah. You think the most powerful people in the country with Parliament would have, like, most of them, I'm not going to say this on all of them, but most of them have probably had a very good upbringing with some higher wealth families, and you'd think they'd have act a lot different than they do. You've got the most powerful people in England screaming at each other in a room. They've got a hammer to make a loud sound to make them go quiet.
And what does that? What example does that set though as well?
So, yeah, that's
for other people
true.
Because it filters down. I mean, you see things now where now more than ever, I feel like our generation is one of whatever in the past it was whatever the result of a political vote or anything like that. You unfortunately for every winner there is a loser.
Yeah.
And our generation is one of a refusal to almost accept. Yeah, everyone should be a winner because now you get well dones for finishing last on sports day, and in kids football, parents aren't allowed to overly celebrate. That's all a load of bullshit. It's in my opinion.
You can see,
that has already filtered though to people. I mean, you see the tantrums that are thrown now when if an election doesn't go the way that they voted. That's what democracy is.
They go straight into protest, don't they? Like
they go straight into. I mean, we saw it with Brexit. I didn't really have an opinion on, and I don't think anybody needs to disclose on a podcast what their opinion on politics is. But you don't take an opinion. It doesn't matter what side you're on.
That's one thing I respected my school tutor from doing. He would do everything he could to keep his opinion away from us because he felt he shouldn't influence us in any way. And we should form our own opinion. And if you wanted to talk to him about it, you could sit at lunchtime, etc., and talk to him about it and try and understand these big difficult topics.
The day after the latest general election, I was out the next day, the day after the day the results came out, and it was like, Conservative massive win. I went out in York with my string quartet, and we were playing, and then there was literally a group of people protesting against the result, and it's like you can't really change that. But then also it's just quite disrespectful because like we were trying to busk, and they're just there with their megaphones over the top of everyone, and everyone's just trying to have their nice, decent.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Was this you playing with your quartet, Sam?
Yeah.
You lost. Get on with there's losers. Sometimes you've got to lose in life.
That's exactly why VAR was
ridiculous.
implemented. for the controversial decisions, because maybe it was a great talking point the day after, but
that's another
it's
podcast.
just the
That is definitely another. That is another podcast.
the ambiguity is gone, isn't
but
it?
I feel like with the thing about not
so if you lose, you have
refusing
lost
to
on purpose.
refusing to accept results, it's just ridiculous. It's just like people have got to realize, that you've got to lose sometimes, and you can't, especially in democracy, you can't just protest a result because you didn't like it.
Yeah, it's going to get to the point where I think it's going to be more like, you watch a match of the day and you've got Gary Lineker giving your opinion on a challenge that's going on, let's say, and he's been sent off. Really, it's either he goes, nah, it's the wrong decision, and then everyone's got their opinion on it, or it just goes, well, the ref said he's off, he's off. You know what I mean? It's either one or the other, and it's right in the middle.
Not only that, I am getting slightly worried about our culture, because I feel like we're getting to such a point now where people are almost scared to say anything.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I was getting on about
what if someone's offended, or what if someone disagrees with me and they throw a temper tantrum?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. People need to respect other people's opinions, and accept that things aren't always going to go their way. But anyway, that's my mini rant done.
I'll continue in another podcast on VAR.
Well, shall we try and wrap up this episode?
I feel like this has been a bit of a ramble, hasn't it?
I think it's been quite a good one. I'll finish on the main point, YouTube.
Yeah, should we finish up on talking a bit, just our final words on
YouTube,
really, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about like the future of YouTube. So we decided. So what were we thinking about where it's going to go? Like exactly from now until say in 5 years, where do you think it will be? And where do you think certain YouTubers will be? Like, do you think like the Sidemen? Do you think they'll be gone, or do you think Logan Paul? Do you think he'll be even bigger than he is now?
I think mostly like Tom said, the media and YouTube are going to merge into one, and everything's going to become more like in one place, and it'll be less businesses trying to make money for their own by buying it, and it'll all be bought out by one business and put into one place, and it'll just become media in
Disney,
one direction.
Disney will buy it.
Yeah. Let's say a big company like Disney buys the whole thing. Then you've got different streaming services all be put into one. Like in one place, you'd have Netflix shows, or your Disney, or your Amazon Prime Video Play stuff, and all your football all be in one place.
Yeah, the way it's going though,
and that'll just go onto TVs because you've got to watch it on.
Yeah, they'll have a monopoly on TV work and everything like that. So
yeah, they've got
TV channels will all be monitored by one company, which would be quite scary because if you think about it,
it happens in every type of business, though, doesn't it?
If someone owns the entirety of YouTube,
eventually,
then it becomes something that's not so free. Because if it's someone who has quite heavy opinions, then they could literally just get rid of someone who's talking about their maybe serious right-wing views. They could be getting?
Oh, that's already happened, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, things like that. But it's just it'll become more monitored because the whole world is getting more monitored, and
it's crap.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? How you succeed in a business is more market share, more sales. And it's going to get to one point where they own so much of a market. The other ones will be, why would you buy the smaller competitor when you've got this big one that's probably doing better pricing as well? It's hopefully it ends up in the right hand.
Unfortunately, Archie, as much as I would love to say that I can still see it, I can see it going back to its days and going full circle.
Yeah,
I would have to agree with you. I think that money does talk, and at the end of the day, what matters more, people's integrity or a couple of extra zeros in their bank account? And as much as people can act like
saints and say, "Oh, I would never sell my integrity." The fact of the matter is, if it's going to set up your family for life, you're going to take it.
It's that really, if it's the moral thing overall, no.
Yeah.
But if it's the moral thing for your family, they're closer to you than that random guy with a different opinion.
Unfortunately, money will talk, and that's why it'll just become more and more and more and more commercialized and monopolized. Unfortunately, for me,
scary.
Yeah.
Well, to end on a high note, I want each of us to name our favorite ever YouTube video.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
Wow!
Yeah, just think. Just I'll give you like a quick second to think, and I'll try and say mine. And
let me have a little look.
Guys, I think we all know it's actually Most Respectful and Beautiful Moments in Football Part 16.
Yeah, I
think
that's number 17.
I think 23 is the best.
Nah, probably the best video ever is probably some of the original work of the Sidemen, I'd say.
Yeah,
even though it's a bit,
do it for the, what was it? Do it for the, I've watched this video
unpaid
so many times.
workers.
Do it for the unpaid workers.
Big. Do it for the unpaid workers.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favourite ones ever. One of the crossbar challenges that they used to do. They were
amazing.
Yeah. So that's mine.
We all prefer an old YouTube over new YouTube. Would you say old YouTube over new YouTube?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Quality wise, it's probably now, but enjoyment wise, all the content would be
simpler. It was simpler.
Yeah.
So what's yours, Archie? Your favourite one ever?
That's such a hard question. You know what? I'm not going to say favourite ever video, but the point where it all really peaked was from the Wembley Cup and watching all the FIFA videos, going from then to the diss track videos, etc.
Yeah.
Around there, whether it's diss tracks from the American lot or diss tracks from the Sidemen and with the beef that they had. Around then was peak quality. Well, you weren't even watching good quality, you're watching utter shite, but you'd love it.
Yeah.
And then the favourite clip, just that baby saying, with the peanut butter all over it.
Oh, peanut butter baby.
Who you thought, Tom?
For me, there's a lot of unbelievable videos, and I'm not gonna say one of my true favorites because a lot of my favorites are basketball videos, and I feel like that would just be a waste saying that because let's be honest, who listening's gonna know about a video by iNerds? You know what I mean?
Everyone.
So, but realistically, for me, it's probably the Logan Paul exploits dead body video from the True Geordie was one of my.
It was, yeah.
One of my
and the one on Conor McGregor was very good.
Yeah, and
watching something very passionate and him, he's like us, isn't he? He's who we look up to. I certainly look up to him.
Except when he did the certain scandal.
Poop on my face, please. Yeah, however it was.
With
shit on my chest.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, everyone's got different sexual things, though, haven't they?
Yeah, Sam, we all know you love getting your toes sucked.
Yeah, that is
no, but and I absolutely loved the True Geordie's podcast with David Icke. I thought that was absolutely incredible.
Oh, actually, I didn't even think about them. The one with the London Gangster was very good from True
Geordie.
Or Life of a Sea Diver.
What takes the thing with me is probably a YouTuber called Chris Smooth.
Chris Smooth?
Don't think you'll know him. NBA 2K My Player video, his first creations I absolutely loved, honestly.
Was that like an NBA version of FIFA Funnies?
It was like 2K or maybe even Spencer FC's Wheel of Fortune episode 1. I remember that was my childhood right there.
The start of something
Lads,
amazing.
can we just take a minute to notice that we have not mentioned the biggest YouTuber on the platform once?
PewDiePie, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your actual opinions on him?
Overrated,
all right.
in my opinion.
He's
love
all
him,
right.
especially when
He's a good YouTuber, I guess. You know what I mean? If he's that big, there's no way he's a bad YouTuber.
Especially his Minecraft stuff. I loved it when he started his Minecraft theory.
Oh, I will tell you what one of my guilty pleasures is as well, and one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. No, I did used to watch Stampy Longnose, but if any of you remember Bayesian Canadian,
oh my! I was gonna say, but I thought you wouldn't know
the
him.
Pack.
Yeah, they were.
The Battle Domes.
Their old videos.
I don't know if I'm thinking of the same one. Is it the one that used to date that Jen girl?
Yes. Yeah. He still does. Oh no.
He still does.
No, that's he was in it. That was was that Popular?
I can't remember his name.
Popular.
It might have been. He was definitely one of them.
There's Bayesian Canadian, Jerome ASF, Preston
Plays, Vic Star used to be in some of them.
Lachlan and Vic with a pack. Oh, and Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, Lachlan's still a thing, isn't he? Yeah. He's definitely a big Fortnite one anyway.
And not Noah or whoever, he does Fortnite now.
Their old stuff. I know what you're on about.
I used to remember that, and then I also used to remember they did that like ultra hardcore thing.
Yeah, they used
where
to
it was like UHC or something. Oh, I loved.
Did you ever used
that
to watch...
was like old Minecraft.
Did you ever watch?
Did you ever like the Mission to the Moon, the Mission to Mars by iBallistic Squid? That group with them.
I actually never remember them.
I used to
watch that now.
Watch so much Minecraft YouTube.
Yeah, Pixel was actually really good.
Sometimes I go back and just watch it because it is unbelievable.
It does, and I sometimes watch those Battle Domes, when I'm bored.
Yeah, they're worth it.
They're always good because they have a different mod every time, and they just fight with all these different mods.
Yeah, I was
if you look at view count, I think the most viewed Minecraft video, obviously you've got like the official Minecraft trailer, and then you've got some of the absolute horrendous videos, but then you've got PewDiePie videos on there. You've got a lot of PewDiePie videos. Jelly, I've never heard of him actually, and he got 17 million views. Wow.
They'll be.
What about the Minecraft songs, boys?
Oh God.
Revenge. That because of the meme that got massive. That music video. That's got a few million views.
Preston Plays, I remember him.
Never a bow in hand.
He's bad now. I actually don't rate Preston's content anymore.
No, I've never seen his content recently, but I do remember.
You know who came up? Do you remember Ash Dub? Do you remember him? He was a Minecraft YouTuber. He came up, and I was still following him from how many years ago it was on Instagram. Yeah. He came up, married now. Christ. He recently got married. I was like, Jesus.
It's crazy some of the things that, like, they're completely different lives. Like, most of them, only a few left standing.
Did you know that apparently, do you remember that Lee guy from Stampy Longnose?
Yeah.
Lee the Bear or whatever it was. Apparently he turned out to be a paedophile.
Yeah, he did. Arrested.
Which is scary. Really, really scary.
Oh, lovely note.
Lovely note to end it on. The guy from Stampy Longnose was a big stinking nonce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a massive episode, and
definitely.
And a very, unstructured,
controversial sections in it, and we'll say it again that we
didn't mean
anything said in here is just an opinion, and it just take it with a pinch of salt, really, and
just don't get offended by it, because at the end of the day, we're not doing it to offend anybody or to be controversial. Yeah. It's just, we're all just basically having a chat, and it happens to be on record, really.
Yeah. So
Well,
we hope you've enjoyed this, and
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good episode to listen to anyway.
Yeah, see you again for episode
Make sure
3.
you hit the like button and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
If you breathe air.
If you're watching this on the video format, because if you're listening to it on Castbox, then you won't be able to like and subscribe. But we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you hopefully soon for episode 3.
Yeah.
See you later.
Peace.